Are you feeling lost in this rapidly changing world? Are you tired of the same old religious information that leads you nowhere? Well, look no further. Join us for an enlightening journey into kingdom consciousness with the incredible Dwight Holmes. This podcast is guaranteed to transform your life and provide the guidance you've been seeking. Say goodbye to confusion and hello to a simpler, more fulfilling existence. Get ready to embark on this life-changing adventure with Dwight, and let's make a difference together.
Welcome to Kingdom Consciousness. We may not have all the answers, but we love discussing the person who does. Open your mind and heart and think about your questions. Write them down on a notepad and share them with someone. Our teacher, Dwight, is here to guide us.
Welcome back to Kingdom Consciousness. Today I have my boy Thaddeus here. Thaddeus, say what's up to the people.
What's up?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Thaddeus been gone for a good little minute, bro. How's it feel to be back, bro?
It feel real good to be back. Actually, it's been a minute. I can say that.
Thanks. Well, we're gonna get right into it, man. I'm hungry. You hungry?
Yeah.
That's actually a topic we're gonna talk about, man. I know it's a lot of people out here hungry, if not starving, bro.
Yeah.
You seen that commercial with the Snickers? You know what I'm saying? You're not yourself when you're hungry, right? So let's talk about that, bro. Like, let's see how we can relate that back to God. You feel me? So when you're hungry, you're not really yourself, right? You get angry. You feel me? You get upset. You don't really want to be around people
When
easily.
you ain't feeding yourself how you should,
Facts, bro. Facts.
that's when a lot of other factors come into play.
Facts. But let's think about it like this. If our flesh get restless like that, right, when we hungry, what does our spirit man do?
Good.
You feel me? Like, let's really talk about that. Like, people are out here and they're Christians, you know what I'm saying? They're in church. They feel as if they can't hear the voice of God. They feel as if, you know what I'm saying, things aren't working out the way that they should. They feel like they've never really heard the voice of God. They feel like they're not on the right track. But are they feeding their spirit, or is their spirit starving? Let's really talk about that.
I can answer that question. The answer is they aren't feeding their spirit.
Facts.
Honestly, the more you read the Bible, the more you spend time with God, the more He will open up to you. But if you spend some time with God, or it may be just simple as you do everything else, but you don't read the book.
Facts.
That can be as simple as that. You go to church, you're doing what you're supposed to do, but you don't read as much. So how will you be able to know what God is saying to you if you don't know how He talks necessarily?
I feel like that's very, very important, right? Because the Bible strictly says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God, right? So that's how we live, right? That's how we supposed to live. Like, that's detrimental to our life, right? So if you stopped eating right now and never ate food ever again in life, would you live?
No.
No, right? You'd probably die, right?
Like,
because you're starving, right? So every single day we don't hop in our word, right? Our spirit man is like, dang, I'm hungry and you're not feeding me.
That's why you feel this way.
People feel as if they're going to church and they're not getting fed, but they're not understanding that you don't just get fed on Sundays. If you only ate on Sundays and never any other day for the rest of the week, you'd be a pretty skinny person, yeah? Your spirit man real skinny.
Yeah.
When we should be making them fat, right?
I agree.
So when it comes to it, bro, I feel like a lot of people out here, and their biggest problem is they're only getting fed on Sundays, right? That's a pretty famished lifestyle, right?
What do you think is that? Do you think individuals are accustomed to just going to church on Sunday? Because I grew up just going to church on Sunday. We had a few Bible studies, Sunday school in the morning, then the service after. Now things are a little different. I can say in my life things are a little different. Mondays I go to minister training class, so that's one time out the week. Whenever I'm available, but through technology you can always watch the service. Bible study on Wednesdays. Some previous time also Thursdays,
Mm-hmm.
and also Sunday. So for me, that was 4 times out the week
Mm-hmm.
that I was in the presence of God. Um, but I also still had a problem hearing the voice of God because yes, I was there doing all those things, but when you're alone,
Mm-hmm.
when you're at home,
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing? Are you sitting down talking with God, or are you just, I got you, God. I'm home, I'm relaxing. I'm going to just chill. I'm not going to do much. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to chill, relax, watch TV, or whatever you do.
Well,
You
I
know,
would say not only are people hungry in that aspect, but they're actually thirsty too. If you drink from the Lord's well, you know what I'm saying, you'll never thirst again, right? So not only are we hungry, but we're thirsty. So another way to feed your spirit is not only reading your word, but hearing the word,
yeah,
right? If you're reading the word and you are now seeing the word, right? Then you have to apply that, right? Another way to feed your spirit, man, fasting, right? Now, a lot of people don't understand what fasting is for,
yes,
right? Now, fasting, it could be to bring down strongholds, right? It could be to hear God's voice more clearly, right? It could be to help you with the decision that you're about to make, right? A lot of people fasted in the Bible when somebody passed away, right? So when you're fasting, you're supposed to set yourself apart, right? If we're called to come out of the world and be ye separate, right? You have to set yourself apart, sanctify yourself, sanctify that fast to the Lord, and really grow, bro. Really feed your spirit, because that is the other way that we what live, right? Not by just bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Now we have to look at the Bible, because everything in the Bible is inspired by who?
yeah,
By God, right? So if it's inspired, everything in here is inspired by God. Now you're living off His what? His word, right? His word was made flesh. What was the word made flesh? That was Jesus, right? So if we're listening to the word when we go to church on Sunday. Now we're reading the word, so we're seeing the word all the time, and we're hearing the word, gospel music, worship music, things of that nature. Now you're constantly feeding your spirit, man, right? Because we understand that the flesh that we have is what weak, right? But
yes,
the spirit is what's willing, right? The flesh and the spirit are contrary, right? The flesh is going to make you do anything that's contrary to the spirit, right? So you will do things you wouldn't normally do, right?
I agree.
I have a lot of friends that can't stop fornicating. They be like, bro, even how hard I was just talking to an old friend the other day. I was just like, bro, back in the day, bro, we used to try to be good, bro. We tried hard. Like we disappointed our parents a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was hard to not do the wrong things. But what I didn't understand then, I understand now, because then I was what natural, and now I am more understanding when it comes to the spirit, right? Was basically I was a child of the devil at that point in time, right? You can't hear God's words because you're not his child at that point in time. People don't really like to hear that. People don't really like to have that conversation. But we have some people that sit in the church that still ain't God's child yet. They still doing whatever they want to do.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? What is it? What profit? What communion does light have with darkness? Not at all, right? If we turn the lights off right now
Yeah.
and you shine your phone light would outshine all this darkness and would bring light into this room, yeah? So if we're doing that, we got to understand, bro, we can't be doing things that are contrary, right? We have to keep feeding our spirit. If you reading your word every day, but as soon as you're done reading your word, you listening to rap music, is that contrary, or is that going to help your spirit?
You got, that's good. That's good. I'm happy you say that. Cause I think sometimes in our lives, our everyday lives, things that are normal or traditional to us, sometimes we do them. They aren't necessarily, I would say, good things. You know,
Facts,
and they
facts.
can be various things. But why is that, you think?
I would say because we're accustomed to doing it, right? Because of the first sin, right? You automatically coming into the world and you've sinned, right? So if you don't know God and no one talked to you about God, that's one of our jobs. What we're supposed to do, right? Spread the gospel and tell it to every creature, right? Spread it to all nations, right? If we're not doing our job, that's part of our fault. If we're not spreading it to where they couldn't hear it, right?
Do you think a man haven't heard God?
I do feel as if there are some people out here who don't know God. They don't know anything about God. There are some dark places like that, bro. And we are called to be children of the light for that reason, because we're going to shine regardless in the midst of darkness. No trouble shall overcome us, right? Because God's going to deliver us out of that trouble. But if you're not speeding your spirit, man, how you going to know that? Right? And that was one of the problems that I had. I tried hard to do good, but it felt like no matter what I did, I always gave into the temptation. Why? Because my flesh was so weak, right? My flesh is so, if you go to the gym and you've never been to the gym in your life, and the first day you lift weights, you're going to go home and you're going to feel like crap. You're not going to feel good. You're going to be sore. You're not going to want to go back. You're not going to do none of that. And that's what a lot of people have happen when they get into this word, man. They see who they really are. Why? Because this is truth. And your darkness can't hide in light. So now they're looking at this truth, right? And it's like looking in a mirror, knowing who you really are. And they don't like it. Let's think about it, bro. Your flesh don't want to be told what to do.
No.
And especially in our generation, bro, we do not want to be told what to do. We do not like authority. We don't like any of that. But what does Proverbs say? Right? That's foolish. A fool is going to despise wisdom. Right? So we're openly accepting in our society, in our culture, in the world today, to being foolish.
I can agree with that.
Then we're taking wisdom from people who got wisdom from the world.
Let's start right there. Yeah.
Let's get it.
I'd say that's one reason I got off social media for a minute.
Okay.
I deleted TikTok off my phone.
Okay.
3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been back on it since, simply for the fact that the social media is a great platform to inspire others to do the right things, but also if you're on it and if you're not conscious or you don't know what you're looking at, because I see it a lot of times on TikTok, people be talking about the most craziest, most worldliest thing that's way far from God, and then I look at the comments and I see a lot of people like, yeah, you right, and you know, this and that, and I'm like, man, only if you would just simply pick up the book yourself or do I won't say research, but just do your due diligence and figuring out, okay, what's the real, what's really going on.
And I'm going to use this as an example, right? Let's talk about Joseph, right? So Joseph, actually, you know what I'm saying? He used to tell on his little brothers, on his brothers, not his little brothers, but his brothers, right? He used to go to his dad, tell on his brothers, they're not working, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, right? His brothers did not like it. Not at all. But why? Because he was telling truth, right? The thing about darkness is it don't like truth.
Yeah.
And if it wants to try and tell the truth, it's not the whole truth, which is still a lie. So now what we have, if we know for a fact now, once we done got in this word, that the devil is the father of lies. So now we're choosing to believe, not only believe the lie, but to fall in love with it. So it's hard to talk to people like that, right? They're not going to like you. Jesus said the world first hated me. So it's going to hate you too.
Most definitely.
The world did not recognize Jesus. What we just learned about. The world did not recognize Jesus. They didn't know who he was. And he made the world. He made you. He made me. How do we not recognize our spiritual father? How do we not recognize him? But the people who knew his voice knew who he was. Why? Because they didn't just feed their natural man. They said they what? Spirit man. Right? So the whole thing that we need to realize and what our generation needs to realize is people is really out here starving. Like some people both. They spirit man starving and they fleshly man starving.
Yeah. Bad combination.
and it's not a good combo. Because at that point, you'll do whatever to survive.
Anything.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's our job. You feel me?
I agree.
To go out and tell them the truth, whether they want to receive it or not. God didn't say everybody was going to receive you. God didn't say, oh, you got to save everybody out here but before judgment day happened. He just said, we got to go spread the gospel.
Yeah. In the way you deliver your truth may not be like the way I deliver my truth isn't how he delivered his truth. Some of those things are similar.
And even with that, bro, when you think about it, bro, it's even, so the thing that is really widely talked about in our culture is the way we talk, right? Like we say things wrong, like, oh, like I'm dead, like but those are negative words, right? But we got to understand that the truth is the truth. No one has a different truth. They just have a different testimony. You feel what I'm saying? So your testimony may be completely different from mine, but it all goes with the what? The truth. Because if Jesus is the only way and the only truth and the only life, there is no different truth, right? So with that being said, he the truth.
Yeah.
And that's facts. You feel me? We got to understand that the devil is the opposition. You feel me? And he can't have any truth. He wants to pervert things. He wants to imitate things. He wants to make things like they seem like the truth. He wants to make things seem like it's a blessing, but we understand that it's counterfeit. You make one decision that's wrong, and you're going to feel it. Like the movie we had watched. What was it? The Shift?
Yeah, The Shift.
He was there for that, right?
Okay.
Right. So he knew for a fact if he chose the decision that the devil wanted him to choose,
Thing would have been.
He would have had to keep choosing wrong and keep choosing wrong and keep choosing wrong. But if he chose the right way, which is the truth, it's going to be God. And the truth is going to do what? Set you free.
I'd rather be free.
Exactly, right. So we have a lot of people out here that's not just hungry, they're starving. And they don't understand that they can't be set free with a lie.
That's good.
You feel me? Let's think about it, bro. You cannot be... Think about it. You ever had a best friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you everything, right? And then out of nowhere, somebody come and tell you something about your best friend that you didn't know. But your best friend told you of this time, but he didn't tell you everything. And he felt like he can entrust it into a stranger because a stranger don't really know them. So that stranger tells you all that stuff. Are you going to feel hurt afterwards? Because your best friend didn't tell you the whole truth? Like, oh, you messed with Shorty, but I ain't know you did all that with her. Now everybody exposing you. You want me to be on your side.
There's more to the story.
But at the same time, you not doing what you said you did. You feel me? You did a lot more and then some. Mm-hmm. Now I'm looking stupid because I done clinged on to your lie just because of your name. Because I respect you as a person because you my homeboy, you my dog, you my home girl.
My friend.
But now, because the tables have turned and you have exposed the lie, now we feel what? Betrayal. Right?
Lots of emotion.
Now we feel as if we can't believe you no more. Now we feel this. Now we feel that, right? If the devil is...
I feel like, not to interrupt you, but I feel like a lot of people have that problem just with the church simply.
Exactly.
One experience mess up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And because I won't say I experienced, but I saw a few individuals,
mm-hmm.
one traumatic experience
after another.
No, just one traumatic experience changed the way that they
viewed everything.
Mm-hmm. Going into the next. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What people need to understand is we being humans and having human nature.
Yes.
Human nature is to sin. Right? And the way I like to explain it to people is Jesus was our what? Example, right? Jesus is God in the flesh. The Word was made flesh. He was already there before the earth was even created. Then he came down to show us an example and to save us, right? From sin. Let's really think about it. He is God. Did he need to be baptized?
No.
Why? Because he was God, right?
Yeah.
But he was baptized to show us what? An example.
Yes.
Right? He ate with prostitutes, right? He came to heal the sick, right? He wasn't there for the righteous. They already righteous. He came to help the people who were not righteous, right? To help the people who were still stuck and in bondage of sin, right? He was our example. He came through and was the perfect what? Example. The perfect what? Sacrifice. The perfect what? Friend. The perfect everything. There was no spot on him.
No flaw.
So he was our example. So when people say, oh, well, Christianity is to be more Christ-like, he literally gave you the exact example, yet we still try to stray off the path.
Or say what we think is correct.
Jesus came and he did nothing that he wanted to do. He did everything that his Father sent him to do. That's the perfect example of what? Denying yourself.
That's good.
Let's think about it. What did we just talk about with the pastor? He said, if this cup could pass from me, right? But then what did he say? Not my will, but what? Thy will. That was the example that we don't need to operate out of our own will, but out of God's will. If Jesus was God in the flesh, and even he said, I'm here to do the will of my Father, who are we to do our own will?
Just stop right there. Once you say that, do you think people just want to do their own thing, or do you think people don't understand the difference between their will and God's will?
I feel like it's a little bit of both. It depends on the person.
Yeah, you correct.
I feel as if you have people out here who just do not care. They despise authority. They don't want knowledge. They think they know everything, and they just want to be out here and just want to live their life until the end. And they feel as if the end is going to be a party. They're going to go to hell with all their friends, and it's not going to be that bad. And
you say you only got one life.
That's the model that they're pushing in our culture today, bro. But we got to understand they're falling in love again with the lie. We know the truth. You're going to go to hell, and it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot, not touch the stove hot, but like hotter than that, like not sauna hot, but way hotter than that. And you're going to be tormented for eternity. It's not going to stop. No one's going to remember you.
I don't even want to think about that feeling.
The light of the wicked will be stomped out. Now let's think about it. We done seen this, you know what I'm saying, on an earthly aspect, right? When Jesus, well, not Jesus, but God wiped out certain whole like nations. Like the giants was all wiped out. Like they gone. Like he said, they were so wicked. They just need to go. Then not even that. He said, don't even take the spoil. He said, don't even take all that. Just burn it all down. Just get rid of it. Why? Because they were so wicked. That's our nature. That's what we, in our own will, want to do. Understand, once we are in the end times, once the Holy Spirit is taken away.
I can agree with that.
Once the Holy Spirit is taken away, bro, there's going to be nothing but evil on the earth. That would not be a time that I would want to be here.
I agree.
Bro, it's going to be robbing. It's going to be looting. It's going to be killing. It's going to be the worst imaginable.
I agree.
And it's not going to stop. There will be no light. There will be no goodness, none of that. Holy Spirit going to be gone. The Holy Spirit is what's holding back the evil. You feel me? So now, if there is nothing but evil and there is no good, and that is our nature, and that's what we want to do, because we don't understand the truth. They've fallen in love with the lie. It's our job to tell them of the truth, whether they want to hear it or not. We still have to tell them. Why? Because they need to know it. If I had the truth in my hands and I said, you are my friend and I love you, and I didn't choose to give it to you, you would look at me differently.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's a bus coming, right? And you walk out in the street and you don't see it. And I don't say nothing. And I goes, I don't want to impose my own will and my own beliefs on you. And you get hit, but you don't die. You're going to look at me like, bro, you tried to kill me. And I ain't trying. I wasn't driving the bus. I wasn't making all that evil happen.
You didn't say anything.
But because I did not say anything, right? The 7 churches in Revelation, right? One of the churches, they did what they had to do, but they didn't speak up against the evil, right? And because they didn't speak up, God was upset with them. Because if you don't speak up, you're now what? A part of that.
Yeah.
Now you with them. If you don't speak up, you're with them.
I guess they ain't want to snitch.
Bro, we gotta, and right. And that's in our culture too, right? If you snitches get stitches, right? Well, give me every stitch that I need. I ain't even gonna lie to you, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm a snitch. What's gonna happen in the end? You're not gonna win. God has the victory. That's what it is. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I'm not here to be, you know what I'm saying, your friend. I'm just here to love you and tell you about Jesus. That's what I'm here for, bro. You don't gotta like me. You don't even gotta love me, but I gotta love you. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. And we need to have those conversations. We need to start having them difficult conversations with people. But at the same time, will people accept it? That's not up to us. But unfortunately, we out of time, man. I really like this conversation, bro.
Really nice.
Hey, y'all, let us know if we need to, you know what I'm saying, go more in depth about this, man. Yeah, well, the last thing I'm going to say is, man, are you well fed or are you hungry? Are you satisfied or are you starving? Let me know.
Mark your calendars for The Gathering 2024, starting Wednesday, February 21st through Sunday, February 25th. Here is a sneak peek of what you can expect. On Wednesday night, we will have the privilege of hearing from Dr. Daniel Latimer.
You're gonna live.
Thursday night will feature an inspiring message from Dr. Tori Phillips.
God will do it later. Lean on your neighbor and say, neighbor, I dare you.
And on Friday night, we are honored to have the esteemed Honorable Daryl McCoy as our speaker. But
God's not a man. But what is God? The Bible says that, see, in order for you to know who you are, you got to know who God is. God's not a man, but what is he?
excitement doesn't stop there. Saturday is going to be a packed day with several exciting events. From 9-12 p.m., we will be giving away church media equipment supplies. At 4 p.m., get ready for an unforgettable concert featuring the legendary Mother Glenn and the infamous Mother E, performing their iconic hymns and throwback gospel music. This event will be recorded live and televised for everyone to enjoy. Sunday will be a day of spiritual nourishment and celebration. At 12:30 p.m., Pastor Carl Odom will deliver an inspiring message along with communion.
In the midst of chaos is when I got peace.
Evening at 5:30 p.m., we will have an ordination and graduation ceremony with a closing message led by our presiding bishop, the Honorable Bishop Z.
At somebody and tell your neighbor, say neighbor, the time.
The Gathering 2024 is going to be an incredible event that you don't want to miss. We hope to see you there.
The hospital church is a whole different environment, man. Like when you walk in, I promise you, I guarantee you will not leave out the same way. I promise you. Whether it's the word, praise and worship, whatever it is, I promise you won't leave out the same.
Insight when I was broken, when I didn't know which way I was going, this church helped me find my way.
Being with this church, we've encountered so many blessings that is more than we can ever imagine. Goals accomplished.
No matter where you come from, what the skin tone is, they love you. Everyone loves you. So just feel free to come here anytime you need. If you need a family, if you need a home.
Also give me somewhere I can learn and advance and keep going in my faith.
Family oriented. You wouldn't know that any of us are not related from the way we interact with each other.
We're very excited to meet you. Listen, look for us, the Monsters. We'll be here ready to greet you.
Are you feeling hopeless and stuck in a difficult situation? If so, I have a suggestion for you. Sometimes we need a bit of divine intervention to help us out. One way to seek divine intervention is through prayer. However, I understand that praying on your own can be challenging or overwhelming. That's why I want to introduce you to the 10-year-plus Hospital Church Morning Prayer Line. We have witnessed incredible miracles, such as people who were on the verge of death being healed, marriages being restored, children transformed, businesses flourishing, and relationships being rekindled. It's a great way to start your day. The prayer line is available every morning from Monday to Saturday, starting at 7 a.m. until 7:30 a.m. Simply dial 904-299-7241 to share your prayer request, and our devoted saints will begin praying for you. It's a powerful experience that can bring about positive change in your life.
Are you looking for a state-of-the-art facility to have your latest conference or retirement party? Do you need a space that can accommodate small or medium-sized events? The HC Multicultural Center is the perfect place if you need to accommodate 20 to 150 people for an intimate celebration. Our facility has a cafe with a beautiful lobby with robust parking. We have a 15-foot LED wall and a digital sound system to accommodate for live recordings, not forgetting our sophisticated live stream 4K and 6K camera setup. If you need to accommodate 100+ people for a large meeting, it is the perfect place for your multicultural event with a friendly staff waiting to serve your needs. When you want it done with class, do it with the